First piece is old business. It's EPC 34-2020. Craig Blair and Craig Bijou, 324 Hollow Tree Ridge Road. Proposing house addition within an upland review area. The site is shown on assessor's map number 9 as lot number 121. The commission members have the draft approval. And I know Jim, of course, you Mr. Calling is my English teacher.
I do have Jim's
comment. Great. Okay, and we thank you, Jim, for that. Does any other commission member have questions or comments, corrections for this application? No. Okay, then with that, Jim, can I have a motion to approve EPC 34-2020?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to make a motion to approve the conditional approval for application number 34-2020.
Okay, Gunnar, may I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, then without objection, this is approved. EPC 34-2020 is approved. We'll move to the next item of business, which is EPC 27-2020. William and Tara Worm, 17 Mystic Lane, proposing swimming pool and patio construction in a regulated area and upland review area. Site is shown on assessor's map number 18 as lot number 62. The public hearing was closed on January 6th, 2021.
I have added Jim's edits, and I also added a little suggestion and condition regarding specifying what plants would go in the area where the autonomous is being removed.
Yep.
And there was another plan change that was made after your last hearing, and date on the plan. I made that date correct. I corrected that date.
Okay, good. Does any of the commission members have any more questions or comments or edits on this one? No? Okay. Let's Jim, may I have a motion to approve EPC 37-2020?
Correct you there, Eric. I would like to make a motion to approve EPC application number 27.
Oh, excuse me, 27. Okay.
2020, number 27-2020 for the record. I'd like to make that motion for approval.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Gunnar, may I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Great. Then without objection, this is approved, and you'll be mailing out the certified letter. Okay, moving on to new business, EPC 01-2021. Kenneth and Carla Coe, 281 Hollow Tree Ridge Road, proposing a replacement house with pool and related site disturbance in an upland review area. The site is shown on assessor's map number 26 as lot number 52. Before we go forward, we're not going to have a public hearing on this because P&D, unless the commission members think so, because there will be a public hearing on this by planning and zoning at a future date. So my recommendation here is that we go through to we listen to the applicant, and then if we feel it's necessary, we can vote for a public hearing. But it's my initial reaction that it won't be necessary. So representing the applicant is
Brian McMahon with Redness and Mead Engineers.
Great. It's all yours.
Good evening. Here on behalf of the owners, here pinch hitting for Craig Flaherty tonight. And I think I've spoken with Rich this afternoon. I think the application is fairly straightforward. This is a vacant lot. There had been a house previously on it. The new owners, our clients, are looking to build a new single-family home, pool, driveway, outdoor patios, etc. There is a regulated area, a wetland area to the extreme west end of the site. We have prepared a comprehensive site design, including drainage design, that seeks to mitigate runoff in all directions off the site, and we've succeeded in doing so. It provides infiltration into the groundwater table for water quality. The amount of disturbance within the 50-foot upland review area is very limited. It's just a single trench with two twin 6-inch pipes discharging to the edge of the wetland, and we brought it to where we have there, really just to avoid having to pump any footing drain discharge. It gets everything nicely and cleanly by gravity down to the wetland area. It's about a slightly more than 50-foot run with a limited width trench. We are demarcating the upland review area both with boulders as well as conveniently with a pool fence. So it will really cordon off the wetland area and prevent intrusion once it is developed. The house is set east enough so that there's plenty of room between the new house and the upland review area, so as not to need any temporary disturbance in the regulated area. We have spoken with staff. They've had a couple of small comments. There's some accumulated landscape debris within the wetland area, within the regulated area, that has been accumulated over time by prior owners, which obviously as part of this we're happy to have removed. And there was a question about some of the stabilization. We do have a planting plan on record with the application prepared by Environmental Land Solutions that does spell out, and I think there was an email earlier, Rich, from Craig, just pointing out that that particular.
Yes, I found it was a note about the seed mix, and I had missed it, so I found that, yeah.
Okay.
Figured that out.
So I think in the end, our drainage design addresses mitigation of all runoff in all directions. It's in accordance with Section 880 of the town code. And we think we've prepared a design that is sensitive to the land and enhances water quality when all is said and done. And I think the disturbance in the upland review area is limited. So with that, I think I'll take any questions you may have.
Okay, well, I think Gunnar and I can speak for myself, also had an issue because we couldn't, because of the snow that when we got the application ourselves, it was difficult to find the site and then walk it, okay, because of, so unfortunately I wasn't able to visit this this lot either.
I can chime in if you want. I got there. Want me to chime in?
Sure, Bill.
I got there prior. I went on Saturday before the snowstorm, and so I was able to get back in there very easily. And it is you're situated in a nice spot. I mean, you're given lots of leeway where the house is going to be, which is staked out, and the pool and such. So you're far away from it. It's a nice wetland back there, but you're really you got yourself in a good spot. It's a lot of good distance. That's what I saw anyway.
Agreed.
Hey, Brian, I have a question for you. Did you do any perk tests?
We did. Yeah, we did both test pits, steep test pits and percolation tests.
Okay, and what's the depth of the basement?
I beg your pardon?
The depth of the basement?
The depth of the basement below finished grade is, if you can give me a quick moment here.
More the level of the. I'm looking at the bottom of the basement and the perk test. That's that's the combination of my question. Oh, is the basement gonna be below where the perk tests are, so you'll have water going into the basement?
No, there's quite a we have included a fairly comprehensive foundation drainage system and curtain drain on the site to accommodate that. And we've also lifted the basement slab as much as possible to get it out of the influence of the groundwater.
Okay,
It's at elevation.
thank you.
It's at elevation 135. Let's see, 135.17, I believe.
Mhm.
So it's about 3 or 4 feet below finished grade.
Okay. Okay, commission members, Jim
Just
Millard, any questions?
turning on my mic, Mr. Chairman. It took me a while, like you described yourself, Eric, where it was a little hard to find. It took me a while. I was out there today. I did not walk all the way back to the back of the property, but I do see the wooden stakes right adjacent to the home at 283 Hollow Tree Ridge Road. So it's clear to me as I look at it where the proposed site is. I agree with Bill that it's quite a nice, what looks to be a very private little spot tucked in here in the woods of Darien. I think it's great. But I did have a couple of simple questions. One more for correcting for proper submissions by the consultants. But the first question I have, which maybe has a little more content to it. So there's a letter in your package from ECM Associates addressed to Mrs. Drimmel at 283 Hollow Tree Ridge Road. It is dated back in July of 17. Could you just give us a little background as to the 3.5-year difference in timing on that letter and in tonight's conversation?
It's going to take me a moment to just bring that up.
I was originally thinking, was this a subdivision of the Drimmel property? But I think it's pretty clear that's not the case, but I could use your help.
All right.
Hey, Jim,
Yes, sir.
just to let you know, that property at 283 just closed a couple of days ago. It was sold and there are brand new owners there. So it's no longer owned by the Drimmels.
Okay.
So that you're referring to the soil report.
Yes, I am. Yes, yes, sir.
July 28th.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think it was just simply an investigation prepared by a consultant for a prior owner of the site.
Okay. All right.
Wait a minute. Okay, it's not addressed to the owner of the site, Kenneth and Carla Cove. It's not addressed to you. It's addressed to a neighbor, and it even has a different address. So,
Yeah.
you know, I could understand making one of the mistakes if they made Kenneth and Carla Cove 283.
Right.
Okay, but you know, it's sort of you know, I'm Jim on this one. This one's sort of curious because it's like this is a great report for the adjacent property.
Right.
Okay, for the adjacent property and not this property. Not that that makes a big. I'm not particularly concerned about that because as my fellow commissioners have said, it's great sighting and you know we understand that and it's, by the way, it's repeated throughout the here. One of the site is located at 283 Hollow Tree Ridge Road. Okay, and so it's not 281, which is the applicant. Okay, so
That's what
Brian,
struck
what do you want to
me.
do?
That's what struck me, Eric. When I first saw the correspondence, I was like, okay, maybe this is a subdivision. Why is this letter even in the package given two different addresses? And as you look at the plans, I believe 283 is north of.
It is just north of the site.
That, yes, adjacent to, but north of and not overlapping at all. I believe I'm right, Mr. McMahon.
Correct. I think if you look at the site plan, you can see the extension of the wetland limit to the north.
Yeah,
And I'm just checking and I apologize, I'm pitching it for Craig that I don't know
no, that's
your.
okay. Okay,
Yeah, I see it. I see it right here on the record survey, which you should have in your packet. It references as the source of the wetland limit. It references that very report that you mentioned here on the record survey.
I kind of, you know, I've done this a couple of times. I kind of thought my way back to exactly what you just shared, which kind of makes sense to me. I get it. I was confused, I admit, when I first was studying it and took a ride out there today to try and find where the entrance was. It's clear it's been staked. So I have no further issue with that. I only have one other request of the various professionals that are guiding Mr. and Mrs. Coe. And that is on environmental land solutions plans of January 13th, 2021, which we have, which I have in my package. I think everybody else does too. I think they should correct that it's not in Wilton, Connecticut. It's in Darien, Connecticut.
Okay. We'll be sure to do so.
Thank you.
Okay, hey, Brian, if Jim's figured it out, I'm not surprised because he's brighter than I am. Okay, but from what I get is that there was a house there, okay,
Yeah.
because it's a replacement. It's a replacement. It was taken down in 2015. So was the property at 280 at 283 part of this property? Was it, Rich, is it clear to you?
It seems as if they marked both properties.
Yeah,
I don't see that, okay, because and maybe I'm just reading it a little differently here because the drainage summary report, I don't see where it references this, but this one comes back to, I don't want to harp on it, but this one is very clear for the property north, and the property north is probably not that much different than this property, given the general terrain.
I looked at the wetland delineation, which went all the way to the south,
Yep.
and that's the delineation you're using.
Okay, what I think we should do then is, this should be clarified. Okay, just, I want to have a clean record because, if someone were to review this and he's not as smart as Jim, he's not going to be able to figure it out like me. Okay, so, what I'd like is, and Brian, you have to help this and tell Craig, that, he got me, okay? And so this should be clarified, okay? And I don't think it's gonna stop the application, okay? Because I'm sure you want this in order to get to P and Z, in order
Correct.
to start digging, to start digging in the spring. Okay, so
I can still write it up, and in the meantime,
figure it out.
clarify that before the next meeting.
Okay,
That works.
would that be okay, Jim? Is that,
Yes, that Rich's suggestion there works for me. We have a month before we have to review that and sign off if we all agree.
all right? So Brian, I give you a little homework.
Will do. I think it was just combined in the original thing all the way down to the wall that runs along the south border of our site, but I'll certainly have that clarified for you and send it into Rich.
Appreciate it, Brian. Okay, so Gunnar, do you have anything?
Well, no, because I couldn't find the property. I drove by it 4 times, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I just did not see. I saw it every other number, but I didn't see a 281.
Same.
Before the snow, there was a clear dirt kind of construction access road where they brought the equipment in for the testing. See that before the snow.
That
All
road,
right, well, listen, hopefully the snow will melt before the next meeting.
Hey, Eric, just so you know, I'm a huge fan of my fellow commissioner, Gunnar Edelstein, an eminent professional. Having spent 40 years in New York commercial real estate, I'll help him with guidance on how you find properties.
I can,
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It's on public record that he's a real estate broker, so he can't find the house. Okay.
Okay.
What we can do, Gunnar, because I'm in your situation, is we'll write this up as if to be approved. However, Brian has some homework on his part to go and clarify and clarify whatever this is, and then you and I can go out there. We'll have, hopefully the snow will disappear at some point. That you and I can go over there and walk it before we give the approval. Before we receive the draft for the approval. And if we have any questions, we can get them to Rich.
or call me and I'll go out.
And Rich can go out with us to walk the property. Is that okay, Rick, Gunnar?
That's fine with me. Sure,
That's a
absolutely.
great suggestion. Thank you, Eric.
Okay, so because I don't want to, I know people are anxious to get shovels into the soil. So, okay, so is there anybody else who has anything they'd like to say? No. Okay, good. Then we'll move on to the next piece of business. The next piece of business is EPC 02/2021. Marina Christoffi, 7 Buttonwood Lane, proposing pool construction in an upland review area. Site is shown on Assessor's Map number 5 as lot number 7. Okay. Gunnar, I hope you didn't have trouble finding this lot.
No, I found this one, no problem.
Well, considering it was on the corner of 2 streets, so it was one of my.
It was a little confusing, but I found it.
Right. Okay, is somebody representing the applicant?
Yes, hi, I'm Barbara Wilson. I'm a licensed landscape architect representing the owners of the property. I'd like to share my screen if that's possible, so I will start with that. If I can get over there. Shoot. Sorry, my cursor's not going the right way.
Fred, can you help her up?
Barbara, if that's not working for you, let me try something else here.
Well, I have to just get my second screen up, and my cursor's going the wrong way. There, oops, now I got it. Is it up?
Yep, there you go.
Okay, great. So this property is at 7 Buttonwood Lane. They're looking to improve the upland entertainment area at the rear of their house to accommodate the needs of their small children. Right now, they have a very small spa, a little patio that's encircled with a pool fence, and this just does not work for this family with their kids, especially during COVID, where they want to learn how to swim. So what we're proposing to do on this 1.83 acre lot, which has about a ½ acre of wetlands. So basically, here's the house. The wetlands start about here, and then this whole part here is wetlands. So I've got some pictures of the existing wetlands. This is standing at the street, looking at the small stream that dissects the property from north to south. This is a little further up on the stream. There are significant wetland plantings that were put in, I think when the house was first built, and then when there were some renovations to the house. So all of this material up both sides of the stream is extant and was planted historically. You'll see that there's a line of boulders demarcating the edge of the wetland line, and some nice shrubs, wetland plantings that are significant in there. So this is the area at the back edge of the property where we are proposing to put a rain garden in this area. You can see there's a lot of the moss and the grass are bed. It's under some red maple trees. So this is the area that we were going to talk about putting in a rain garden, just for clarification on the existing conditions, for those of you who haven't been there. So this is the side of the house. We are looking to upgrade this existing patio and renovate parts of it. This is the existing spa area that's enclosed in this little teeny fence. This whole thing is going to go away. The existing patio that's here with the pergola is staying. So what we are going to do under the pergola, this patio is all gravel. You can't walk on it in shoes. The kids can't run on it in bare feet. So we're proposing to put in pavers. I saw a plan previously that they were supposed to put pavers in, but the owners clearly didn't. This is where the existing spa's pool equipment is, and this is the exact same location, which is just to the right of this pergola, where the pool equipment is going to be. This is the existing gravel patio that we're looking to remove all the gravel and then just lay it with pavers in this area. We're also going to take this existing built-in outdoor kitchen that's failing and remove it and a part of this retaining wall, and then just put in a new retaining wall around the edge and then steps down. Okay, so then I'm going to go to the next plan. So the plan, it basically is, so this was the stream I showed you pictures of and the wetlands there. This is where we're going to propose the rain garden. So what we're proposing to do is this existing patio is similar in shape. We're just changing the material and removing where the spa was. So it's basically a similar size. Then we're going to add a little bit of patio here for lounge chairs and add a pool perpendicular to the house, as close as we can. We did investigate 3 different alternatives, turning it 90 degrees, putting it closer, putting it towards where the fire pit is, which is this right here, and also trying to put it way back. This ended up being the least amount of disturbance. Also flows better with the house, and the owners, can conveniently get in and out and safely with their kids. We're talking about a pool enclosure fence that'll start here where the pool screen fence is going to be, and then it'll go perpendicular to the house, run along the stream channel, go all the way back to the back property line, run along the front property line, and then meet up with an existing fence here that will update to a pool code compliant fence. So the whole backyard will be enclosed, safe for the kids. They can't get out because this is a busy street here. And that way it's also will allow the fence that they're going to pick will allow, animals and turtles and salamanders and things to flow through it with the 3.5-inch gap. We are also, this is an enlargement of the area. So here's the kitchen, old kitchen was here. So we are taking that all out and just making new patio, which is basically just this spot right here. And then we're just doing a free form outdoor kitchen that just sits on the patio. Here's the stairs down. The pool itself will be at, the water will slope away from the house. There'll be a trench drain here that will attach to an existing infiltrator system here in the corner of the house that was implemented. Then this will be at grade, except this is actually, so we're not doing any grading back in this area. And then there'll be an exposed wall from about here to here, which will be veneered. So no grading in the backyard at all, no grading around the new patio. The only thing that will probably need a little bit of grading is to add these stairs to access the yard now. This is the proposed plantings, the mitigation plantings that we're proposing. We will just put some ornamental plantings that are going to be native, a combination here along the existing patio, along the outer edge of the pool, which will have a small water feature. Then we're going to try to fill some gaps here along the stream with some native shrubs that will handle this conditions here, here, and here. And then this is where we're proposing a rain garden, which will be all shade material because there's 2 existing red maples here. All of these sort of light green are existing plantings. Most of these were the wetland mitigation plantings that were planted, and they go all the way this way. So that's it for, if you can help me stop sharing. Oops. Sorry, I don't know how to stop sharing this. Thank you. So that's basically it. You know, we are proposing to remove something. The pool, I forgot to say that the pool or existing spa and fountain are both leaking. So they have to be repaired anyway. So that's it in my summary.
I have a question. The pavers, are they pervious? Are you gonna have pervious between the pavers? You know, pervious, or it's gonna have sheet flow off the pavers?
So we were proposing right now to do a granite on concrete, which is what the detail on the plans shows. So that is what we're proposing at this time, so that the water all goes to the drain system that is between the new pool and the existing house.
Okay, and then the drain goes to the rain garden.
No, the drain, well, we have the drain right now going to infiltrators that are in the front of the house. We potentially could have it go to the rain garden, but right now the owner says that there is a lot of water that pools in that area now. So we were trying to address the water that's basically running all the way from the fire pit and in the backyard, which was graded to put in the spa that's there in the fire pit. It is actually damaging that area and scouring it.
I then have another question. The fence is right along the water course.
Yes.
Okay, and so, you know, in a large storm, obviously the stream would swell, and is it going to run underneath the fence then, and it's going to get caught on it and stuff like that?
Well, it's one of those typical wrought iron fences with the large gaps. So yes, the lower member will be 2 inches from the bottom. I suppose that there will be potentially some, but if you look at the size of the stream, most of the year there's no water in it, and even when in heavy flows, it's only about 2 feet wide. So it's very, I call it small. So I don't know. There's also culverts coming from the north end, and it goes into a small culvert out. So I don't think there's going to be 4 or 5 feet, right, raise in the elevation. I think there might be at the maximum a foot, and the fence is going to be at least a foot above the elevation of the bottom of the stream. And I call it, honestly, I'd call it an intermittent water course. But that's my interpretation of what it looks like.
Okay, thank you. Jim?
Turning on my mic again. Thank you, Eric. I do have one question that's important to me, and then a couple of hopefully clerical corrections from the package I received. And really, I think my first question, or this question, is directed to Rich for his guidance, again, in terrific experience in all we do. I'm looking at the wetland setback line running from south to north right through the middle of the pool. It's the wetland setback line. It's not the wetland delineation. And are we good with putting pools?
It's an upland review area, Jim.
And so it's permissible to install a pool given these delineations. Is that right?
Well, part of the house,
Yeah.
part of the house is also in the wetland. It's in the wetland is in the
Yes,
upland
I see
review area.
that. Yes, I see
Well, the
that.
house- That's the reason for the application. The house was a tear down, and I think it was 2010.
Yeah.
And they did some pretty extensive wetlands mitigation by removing invasives and planting native shrubs. And it's been one of the best maintained that I've seen
Yeah.
in 10 years. Of course, it's very visible, but I check on that one, you know,
Will you drive by it?
I drive by it.
Yeah.
It's been kept very healthy. The invasives haven't come back. Shrubs, they've done pretty well.
They maintain it well.
So I see that what's being added is being pretty substantial compared to what's being asked.
Eric and Rich both, and everyone, I can confirm everything you describe. Our driveway is 600 yards north of this home. I've watched the home get built. I watched the generator get built. Took forever, by the way. And so I know the wetlands that flow from up Brookside Road heading towards the south through 175 Brookside Road, a home we spent some time discussing. So I know this. I must drive by this home 6 times a day or more. So I know exactly where we are. I know the condition of the land up above it. And I just needed your help on that clarification. So I'll move off that little point because I think you've answered that important question for me anyway. But I would ask Mrs. Wilson, is your letter of January 19, 2020 dated correctly?
Oh. Oh, COVID brain, 2021. Yes, thank you for catching that.
I thought you were going to say that, but I just
We-
wanted to be sure for the record
He
to
was
have
looking to
good.
criticize Rich for not presenting this application
No,
earlier.
no, not criticizing anybody, just making sure the record that we all make decisions off of is accurate.
Just checking my plans. They look like they're the right date.
Yes, but do they have the correct street name on Buttonbush Lane to
Oh,
the
did I
bottom?
write Buttonwood?
The bottom of
Buttonwood.
sheet number L-1.0 reads Buttonbush Lane.
Oh, they all
I
say
didn't get that one. I didn't get that one.
Buttonbush is a nice way.
I think that's part of your planting plan, but that's
And
not the name of
you
that
looked,
street.
They all say
Listen.
Lane, and even my
Yeah,
letter says Lane.
No, but I'm looking at just for cleaning it up, for keeping it on the records properly. So on sheet number, your Barbara Wilson Landscape Architects plans, sheet number L-1.0, the first page in the package I received. At the bottom of the page, it reads Buttonbush Lane.
Okay.
To be
Yeah.
Buttonwood.
It says it also on L-1.2.
Yes, it'll say it on all of them.
And I respectfully submit that that should be corrected so that we're all on the same town.
Yes, I can change it on all the sheets.
Okay, thanks. I have no further
Hey,
comments.
hey, Jim, if you look
Yes,
at the right-hand column under Barbara Wilson Landscape Architecture, it does say Christophe Residence, 7 Buttonwood Lane.
I see that. I'm just talking about,
Yeah.
go to L-1.0.
I know, I see the Buttonbush, yep.
And I happen to drive across Buttonwood Lane multiple times a day, and I think if Mrs. Wilson would help us as put this application before the higher being, we should correct that.
Yeah, that should be corrected. Barbara, if you could submit a corrected memo with the 2021 date and corrected plans with the proper, that would be appreciated. Okay, Rich, so you can.
Certainly. And do you just need it electronically or do you need hard copies too?
If you could mail me one, do it both ways, but at least mail me one hard copy.
Okay.
Have one delivered or.
Yeah, just for your file, right?
It's the same as the letter. Both, but just one.
Certainly.
Okay, Gunnar?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So is there a net gain or reduction in impervious area with this new proposed swimming pool, or do you know?
So we have only basically the area of the pool that's added. So I actually wrote so it's about 50 feet by about 16 feet that's new. So it's from the edge of the pool, the whole pool, and then where the lounging chairs are. That's the only area that's new. If you need a calculation of the square footage, I could add that to my corrected memo if you want me to do that.
Looking at the L-1-0, I see the 50.9, but the other dimension is 36.4.
Yes,
looks
yes.
like
So
that-
that's just extending it all the way to how far it is from the house.
Oh. So how wide actually is the pool going to be?
It's a 15 by 30 pool.
Oh, okay. So there would be a net increase of impervious surface? Is that what you're
Excuse me,
saying?
it's a 15 by 38 foot pool. So that the pool is basically the only new impervious surface on the property, and the set of stairs down from the patio.
Okay, all right, that's all. But okay, thank you.
Okay. Right? Bill, you got some questions or comments?
Yeah. Has there been any thought about having a natural strip between the water course and the lawn for the length of that, just to prevent fertilizer from heading down that way into the water course?
So right now, that is really the only area for the children to play. The front lawn, there isn't a good space. So that is their soccer lawn, and it is lawn. It's been established as lawn. And then the plantings are all right now about 10 feet off the stream, so that I think any fertilizer would get caught up in the shrub plantings that are existing, and then we're adding some more. So if you wanted something like that, it probably would end up having to be down closer to the stream rather than up.
Yeah, I don't have any problem down. Being now the stream is better than not having it at all. Absolutely. So I'm not sure whether they'd be playing in the stream with their soccer ball. If you went up a couple of feet from the stream with some natural type of catch some of this would be, help that from fertilizer from going. We all know everybody fertilizes their lawns pretty heavily, so.
Well, that's what we intended, or what was intended is the existing shrub beds, right? So they're not mown, they're established root systems, they're pretty, wide and significant, and we were going to add to that sort of. The shrub border is a good thing to also handle any runoff and gather any nutrients that might get into the stream. So that was our intent, was the shrub border filling the gaps was going to help with that.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other commission members have questions? Rich? Okay. Okay. So I guess what we'll do is we'll have Rich, if you could write a draft approval pending receipt of the things that we talked about from Mrs. Wilson. Okay? And then, okay, and that's it, right? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Nice
Great, thank
presentation.
you so much.
Okay. Moving along here, we'll now do EPC 05-2021. William and Jane Glassmeyer, 8 Woods End Road, proposing full construction in an upland review area. The site is shown on Assessor's Map number 11 as lot number 21 and 22. Who's representing the applicant?
I am. My name is Bruce Eckerson, Principal at Eckerson Design Associates, Landscape Architects. So I'm here tonight on behalf of the homeowners, Shed and Jane Glassmeyer. I could share my screen. Hopefully this will work. I have to do something here. It's telling me I have to quit in order to share my screen. Well, I guess I'm not going to be able to share my screen, so I apologize for that. The Glassmeyers live on 8 Woods End Road in Darien.
Second, hey, Fred, is there any way you can help them out or no?
Just won't, it won't,
Yeah, Bruce, it looks like you're gonna have to restart GoToMeeting to allow the share to happen for some reason.
There you go.
Oh,
what
there you
happened?
go.
I don't know what happened.
You got it.
Well,
Hey, Fred,
I think you're up. I think you're up here, guys.
All right, let's see. Sorry for this.
Just maximize that PDF window.
There we go.
There you go. You're good.
Better? Okay,
Yep.
I also want to, so this is the property, 8 Woods End Road. The residence is located on the eastern kind of half of the property. The property is bisected in a north-south manner by an existing water course. So really 1/3 of the property is to the east of the water course, 2/3 is to the west. The existing driveway loop is off Woods End Road with a little parking area here. There's an existing terrace along the back of the house. Along the water course, there are 2 small strips of wetland identified by this dashed line here. And these 2 areas are beds of existing pachysandra, pretty thickly planted pachysandra, although on the west side, there's quite a bit of ferns that's mixed in with the pachysandra. So the proposal before you tonight is to construct a new pool, 18 by 44, approximately 981 square feet total. It's to be constructed immediately adjacent to the existing terrace behind the house. There's no new patio or terrace being proposed. The existing terrace is bluestone set on a flexible bed. So it has tight joints, but they're open joints, so it's not on a concrete slab. The existing terrace drains to the west towards the watercourse. So when we install the pool, we're proposing a trench drain along the edge of the pool to intercept any stormwater runoff. And that, along with the water from the auto cover trough, will be piped over to a infiltrator gallery system in this area. which has been designed to accommodate the 50-year storm. We are going to enclose the pool with a fence. The fence will come off the side of the house here, the north side, follow the property line, go along inside the wetland line to the south property line, and loop back off and tie off to the southern corner of the house. We're also proposing to remove all of this Pachysandra that's along the stream bed and replace it with a mixture of native perennials, sedges, grasses, those types of things to create more of a native buffer along the watercourse. The area where the pool is located is in a pretty flat lawn area, and I'd like to show you some pictures in case people hadn't gotten there. Let's see if I can get that up. So the Glassmeyer staked the pool. You can see here's the existing bluestone terrace. Here's approximately where the pool is to be located. It's to be located completely within an area of maintained lawn. Here's the Pachysandra bed along the side of the watercourse. The Pachysandra and fern bed along the other side as well. Let's see. Here you can see from the southwest corner of the pool, the bed of Pachysandra, and through here it's quite thick and extensive. Here's the delineation of the pool again, abutting the existing terrace. Here we are looking from the south side. Again, you can see where the pool is staked, and that pool was staked slightly larger than what we're proposing. So we're actually not as close to the wetland as it shows here. Here you can kind of see the where the pool is adjacent to the terrace again, the Pachysandra beds on either side of the watercourse. And in the far background, you can see we had discussed an alternative location for a pool on the other side of the crossing, but had rejected that location as it's really seemed too far from the house. And there's an existing crossing, earthen crossing here with a pipe and rocks, and just didn't seem like it would hold up under heavy construction traffic. So we decided to stay with the pool on this side of the house for convenience. Back to the plans. We've prepared a soil erosion and sedimentation control plan. We intend to access the backyard over the existing driveway here with with a construction entry, gravel pad here. We're going to enclose this whole eastern rear yard of the house with a row of silt fence and hay bales. Whatever topsoil we're going to strip, we're going to stockpile in this location. The southwest corner of the pool is really the closest to the adjacent wetland area. We believe that because it's so flat, we have maybe at most a foot of grade change between the proposed corner of the pool and the existing grass. So we intend to grade off that spot at a 3-to-1 slope so that we're not going into the wetland. There's a section which delineates that as well. So, you know, I believe it's a pretty straightforward proposal. It's really just the pool and the fence. You know, the fence will act as something of a barrier to the watercourse. The new plantings will be an improvement over the existing invasive Pachysandra. I did receive a call, spoke to Rich Jacobson earlier today, and he suggested that maybe this Pachysandra bed on the other side of the watercourse could be replanted in a similar manner as we're proposing on the eastern side. So we're willing to do that. So if there are any questions?
Okay. Rich and I were just talking here about ferns.
Well,
Okay.
there's some nice ferns in different parts of the Pachysandra, which they can easily work around.
Okay. Okay, so that would be,
Well, they could, I mean, you typically want to see a list before construction fleshed out. You know, we can leave that to staff approval.
no, I know, okay, so a planting plan,
Yeah,
subject to staff approval,
yeah, but
okay?
the ferns, you can easily work around.
No, I understand that, so, but just for, Mr. Eckerson's, you know, that he would say any approval would be contingent, upon your looking at the planting plan and coming to agreement with staff here, Mr. Eckerson, okay? With Rich as to what the planting plan would be,
Okay,
okay?
yes.
Okay, going down, hey, listen, I'm just to change things up, I'm gonna go, Mr. Wright, you wanna go first?
Yeah, Pachysandra. So I need to learn something about this. Pachysandra on a stream bed, I know it's invasive, but it seems to be very good at holding erosion back. And it probably is also good about, back to my fertilizer issue, about probably catching any runoff from fertilizer. So if you replace Pachysandra, because it's not as nice and looking as, and it's invasive, can you still capture that same erosion control and the ability to stop fertilizers from getting into that watercourse?
Well, I think initially, you know, the Pachysandra right now is much thicker. It's a very well-established bed. I
Okay.
think once the native plants get established and thicken up, it will accomplish the same kind of filtration of nutrients that the Pachysandra would.
Okay. That's all I have. 4 feet does seem really close to me, but see how everybody else thinks about it. I'm done.
Gunnar?
Thanks.
Thank you, Bill. Gunnar?
Yes, thanks. So it was kind of hard. I could see the water course. It was flowing today. So I guess this is probably more to the homeowners. Does that ever flood enough to get into your backyard?
It's never flooded in our backyard.
So kind of like today, what you see is what you get pretty much, or is that?
Correct. And did you walk down, you can see there's like a little dam where it overflows. So it
I didn't see that.
it goes right over. So it would never collect in any way. There's nothing to keep it from flowing down toward.
Is that at the south end of the water course? Because I didn't see that.
It is.
Yes.
I didn't bring my snowshoes, but
And along the lines of the previous submission, the water course really only runs part of the year. It's dry, you know, from July, August on, unless there's a big rainstorm. So.
okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Jim?
I find each and every one of these meetings helpful to me because I learned something, and I learned a lot. And I appreciate Bill Wright's question of a minute ago on the removal of Pachysandra to be replaced by another material. And thank you, Mr. Eckerson, for explaining it for us neophytes. It seems like there's a lot of activity within 600 yards of my driveway tonight. And I know Woods End Road, I happen to think it's a charming street. I really, really like it. And I was out there today. I did not go in your backyard, but everything I looked at on the submission leaves me comfortable with your plans.
Thank you.
And, for me, I agree with what's been said before. 4 feet is really close to the water course, although the water course is pretty small and pretty stable. Doesn't have major volume.
Well, it's 4 feet from the wetland line, not the water course.
excuse me, okay, from the wetland line, okay, as opposed to, yeah,
And
that's
it's,
close, and that's about as close as I would let something get, quite frankly. So, you know, if it was any closer, I'd probably have, I'd probably push back more. I think when it's built, obviously the sediment erosion controls, et cetera, are gonna have to be examined carefully. The hay bales, you gonna have hay bales there, Mr. Eckers?
yes. Mhm.
Because that, you know, because I don't want, because whatever comes from this, goes through this water course, essentially ends up in Cherry Lawn Pond. Okay, as I recall, this water course ends up in Cherry Lawn Pond. And so, you know, I want to make sure that, I mean, that's, has its own issues, but I just don't want any more sediment getting in there than it's necessary. But other than that, I'm pretty good. And so I guess what we'll do is, the only homework for this one is a planting plan, Rich, that
Or condition.
condition, condition, Mr. Eckerson, that you work with Rich, come up with a planting plan that he's comfortable with. Okay.
I can do that. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So, yeah, so other than that, Rich, you can write this one up too, and we'll move forward. Thank you for attending this, Chad. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye now. Okay, moving on. Public hearing withdrawn at the applicant's request. EPC 32, 2020, Ellen and a GS 26 Parsons Walk, proposing replacement house and related construction activities in upland review area. The site is shown on assessor's map number 20, is lot number 31. Any comment on that, Which, or just they just called up and said?
Yeah, technically they have to. I can't see. They're gonna remodel the house. And stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's my understanding.
So when they get that, then they'll come back.
That was the answer. Made that to me. So,
Oh, okay.
So there's no new, they're not gonna be.
So they'll be back.
No, they'll be remodeling. In other words.
Okay.
I mean, if they come back with an addition, you'll see that.
Yeah, okay.
Now they're gonna be.
Remodeling. Okay. Agent approvals, no action necessary unless the commission receives an appeal of the approval within 15 days of the publication date as per section 12.2 of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Regulations. EPC 03-2021, Brian and Sarah Williamson, 21 Oak Park Avenue, proposing a house addition in the upland review area. The site is shown on assessor's map number 23 as lot number 20. Commission members have any questions, comments for Rich on this one?
No, sir.
Okay.
I have a quick question. So I walked back today, and there is a little stream that runs right along that side of the property. And so what the addition is basically just taking out some of the existing or over some of the existing deck. Is that correct?
Yes, and it's gonna be on sonotubes. I imagine those will be hand dug or dug with a power auger. They won't be putting heavy equipment back there.
Are they going to have to excavate, or are they just going to build it on, how are they going to do that?
The foundation's on piers. So they won't be bringing an excavator back there. No, it'll be, well, what I said.
It'll be built on concrete pillars.
Yeah, on concrete pillars, right, which typically are done either with a power auger or hand by hand, right? It won't be a backhoe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Moving on, EPC 04-2021, William Atwell, 10 Cross Road, proposing a stone wall in an open review area. This site is shown on assessor's map number 65 as lot number 2. Any questions or concerns that you would like to relate to? I'd like to ask Rich about?
None by me, Mr. Chairman.
None.
No. No. Okay. Then Moving on to other business. Discussion of stormwater management and maintenance on residential properties. That's a to-do that's outstanding with Jim Millard, Michael Irvin, and me. Curiously enough, Michael Irvin is not attending tonight because he's attending a course on, I'm not sure what the title of the course is, but he talked to Rich too about, and it will get into Coltex and Coltex management. So as the, we gave him a hall pass for tonight.
Good.
So that he could go do that and report back to us. So I said that's the thing. Okay. There is
Great.
one more thing that Rich added to everybody's packet, which was the Connecticut land use, which is March 6th.
Right, it's Saturday. Jim and Bill, let Tamara know. Just let Tamara know.
Okay, because can you throw my name in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you throw?
Sure.
Okay, and so and since it's Zoom, if it was happening to travel up to Wesleyan, that's one thing. Since it's Zoom, I mean,
Yeah,
you can't make it much easier.
The DEP used to do an annual
Yeah.
seminar on legal issues.
That's a shame. That's a shame. I used to go to that. Yeah, that was cool. But anyway, I highly recommend that if you have the time and inclination to sign up for that, you can pick and choose what you want to listen to.
Rich, can you add
Pardon?
can you add my name to that? I'm not sure if I'm going to be around, but I'll try.
Oh, best to sign up. I mean, if you can only show up for the EPC part or other things like that, but
I'll let Tamara know tomorrow.
appreciate it. The next one is the minutes of January 6th.
I have Jim's.
Okay. I was going to say, Jim didn't comment on this. I'm not sure there would be the full, blessing on this one. Does anybody else have any questions or comments to the minutes of January 6th, 2021? No? Okay. Then, Jim, may I have a motion to approve?
Yes, sir. I'm happy to provide a motion to approve the minutes of the January 6th, 2021 meeting of our Environmental Protection Commission.
Who do I have a second?
I second the approval of the minutes, subject to the very diligent review by Commissioner Millard.
Yes. If we didn't have that commission, I'd postpone it. If Jim hadn't reviewed it, I'd postpone it for next month. Just anyway, thank you. Without objection, so approved. I don't think there's any other business, right?
Well, I have a question, Eric, if I may, of the group.
Sure.
I only had standing by for tonight's meeting a carryover from our last meeting on the application number for 6 Berry Lane. I need to find and it didn't make it to tonight's agenda. So I imagine, Rich, you have an answer for that, or maybe there was a postponement or a withdrawal.
6 Berry Lane was an agent approval?
Oh, it's EPC 33-2020. But I made a note to myself.
Oh, wow. That's
So
not
they
issued
went
an agent
on the
approval.
property, evidently.
Berry
I
Lane,
made-
I thought Berry Lane was an agent approval.
yeah, it was.
So
That
so
was-
I'm in error. Maybe it wasn't necessary to
Okay.
hold it over to tonight, but I just wanted to be sure to make sure we were right.
Good, okay.
Thank you.
Anything else, Jim? Okay, anything else?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, then now may I have my motion to adjourn?
Yes, I'm pleased to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting of the Environmental Protection Commission of February 3, 2021.
Doing a second?
I wholeheartedly second that.
Okay. Without objection? So moved. Thanks, guys.
Thanks all.
Okay.